And we're going to start with a poll. And I do have to let you know that if you are using a phone from outside of the United States and you don't have text messaging, you will just need to go to the URL listed above. So if you could all text Peggy Hoffman to 22333. And if you can't see it up there, it's PEGGYHOFFMAN, Peggy Hoffman, to 22333. And then once you're there, select either A or B. So the question is, do chapters rock or do chapters need to go away? And if the text doesn't work, you can also go to the URL, which is pollev.com/Peggy Hoffman. Don't worry, this poll is going the way we expected it to. So everyone's kind of giggling. Is it not supposed to go this way? Yes, it's supposed to go this way. We collectively have, So we'll give you one more minute to finish the poll here. Okay, so we're staying, say a pretty good percentage of you think chapters rock. Thank you very much. I agree as well. Chapters do rock, right? So, you know what? I think in order to figure out if chapters rock, to have or to have not a chapter, I would like to welcome two ladies to the stage. Sometimes a queen, sometimes not, sometimes they think they are. Please welcome Daenerys Stormborn and Cersei Lannister. Mother of Dragons, would you like to start today?
It seems to me that a queen who trusts all is as foolish as a queen who trusts no one. I assume, Cersei, you are here to bend a knee. You have always been a dreamer. I will simply say that I do not trust all chapters. But there are 5 irrefutable facts as to why chapters rock. Allow me to share. Stand aside. The first is experiences. We all know that we crave experiences. Else, well, there wouldn't be a Broadmoor. There wouldn't be tapas. There wouldn't be the play here at Broadmoor. No. We all crave experiences. This is, after all, the experience economy. And 8 in 10 millennials say experiences help shape their identities. And in fact, they collect experiences, not things. 2. We are driven to be face to face. I dare say, how many of you live right here in Colorado Springs? And the rest of you do not? And you have come here to be face to face, proving my second fact irrefutably. But if we did not want to be face to face, then pray tell why are there 225,000 meetups in 180 countries in the kingdom, run by over 140,000 volunteers, much like yourselves? No. Turns out that even that lovely, elusive, sometimes scarce to see, Gen Z, born circa 1995 to 12 or so, 84% said in a survey listing texts, emails, phone, that face-to-face was their preferred channel. Okay, we do need to understand that their definition of face-to-face is if I can see you and hear you, and so Skype and Zoom count. Three. You know, come on, you know that referrals are the number one way people make choices, yes? Word of mouth, or mille voce. Word of mouth reigns. Am I right? So I have to ask you this question. Beware the dragons if you get it wrong. What is the most trusted source? Friends, 92%. Did you know that the word of mouth is a preferred if you only have one choice? 50%. But this is the one I really love. 41% said it is trustworthy over anything else, including social media. So if word of mouth is so important, does not it make sense that we have chapters to allow face-to-face for relationships? Who is with me? Woo! 4. You all remember 1, 2, and 3, do you not? I have 3 dragons. 4, and this is important. All of those coming into the workforce wish to find a way to bring together their skills and volunteering. This picture right here is a young professionals committee that I just last week spent 4 hours facilitating their mid-year meeting. All under 35. Raise your hand if you're also under 35 or feel under 35. They're all volunteers. They gave up a day and a half of their jobs, convinced their bosses to allow them to come, to be able to deliberate, to develop, to design, and to support their community. What we do know is that 43% of millennials said that they are actually interested in volunteering as an aim to broaden their skill set. And I love the second part. 46% said they were inspired to act so they could lend pro bono skills. Where can we find leadership positions for this generation of folks that want to develop their skills? Say it to me loud! Chapters. Oh, my people, tell me! Chapters. And 5. Oh, excuse me. This newfangled world. Grassroots. I want to get real for just a moment. major brands, some of you in this room representing such, know that grassroots marketing is one of the most important ways of reaching a very targeted audience. Yes? Can I hear an amen?
Amen.
Thank you. And particularly if your budget is less than huge. Can I hear an amen?
Amen.
Do you think that HSMAI could benefit from grassroots to help protect your profession, to make sure that people understand who you are, what you do, and how you create experiences and opportunities for face-to-face?
Yeah.
Yes. In order for HSMA to get the word out, to develop, to build that, they have to have grassroots. Grassroots requires influencers. Where, I ask you in a loud voice, are HSMI influencers? The chapters! I can only say to you, would you argue my point that these 5 irrefutable facts for sure tell us that chapters complete the HSMI club? The commenter to my left did not introduce herself, but that's the way she grew up. I am Cersei Lannister, and depending on which season you watched, I am either a murderer, remember that? Oh yes. The incestuous wife of King Robert, a queen, and I had been shamed on the streets of my own kingdom, but I stood up for my kingdom at all costs. My commoner to the north walked many a road with no following. All she seemed to have was a dragon. I, for 16 years, have supported HSMAI and their chapters. I have a chapter kingdom that you all belong to. But not everybody feels the way I do. For 16 years, I have stayed in meetings and been parts of meetings where the chapter value was greatly challenged. You're expensive and you're not consistent. But you have good hearts. Beware, what I'm going to present now will take you down with your dragon and with your king. Cars. A chapter in the Book of Webster is an entity of something else, part of something bigger. They can become fatigued, misled, and even lost. And they close. The world is crowded. Everyone is running. There are lone wolves, and there are storms. Just recently, one of our chapters closed. This month, as a matter of fact. How many of you know that the chapter in the Kingdom of Orange County closed this month? Anybody know? There's the sign. They brought a community, and their people and their subjects wanted a community. They brought lessons and learning and love, and the dragon came and blew the fiery breath of the north and took them away. But don't despair. You can be better at that. Passion led us here
passion will take us there. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes the path is not clear. Sometimes you wonder if you have become lost. Sometimes your education doesn't go and deliver what you thought it would or have the attendance you wish it would. Competitors run in front of you. I've never been a good listener, but I have to say, she made a few good points. But she talked about the numbers of like groups becoming together. Did you hear anything about a structure in those numbers? Did you hear that there was a chapter word in those numbers? Did you hear that there was an education? Did you hear there were members? No. They are a bunch of people playing soccer on the field who want to have a beer afterwards. Of course they want to come together. That's not what we're all about. We care. We have to climb mountains. We have to kick ass. We have to be strong, but we have to get our feet wet with new things. We have to do something great. And we have to look to the future, or there will be no future. Look at this. The cemetery of HSMI chapters died 2013, 14, 15, 16. And actually 18. Their cemetery makes it harder for all of you to be successful because you have to overcome the perception of someone who was there when that happened. We really go to battle to try not to have that happen. Sometimes it does. Now, the commoner to my left needed words and a script to be able to share her passion. I can be myself and tell you my passion is genuine and I'm with you, but we all have to work together. And what do you say, commoner to the north?
Well, I can say but one thing. You speak out of both sides of your mouth, as one would expect a Saracen to do. You see, on one hand, you act as though you care about the chapters, and then on the other hand, you are, after all, standing up here to say that the chapters should go.
And you know why I took this side, because you were afraid. You knew the score would be 96 to 4, and you didn't want to be on the side of the negative. I'm all right with it. I understand my passion, and I feel your pain. I got the short straw. I was the bigger woman. Much bigger.
My dear, you have heels on. Keep those heels off, or even baby. Well, I mean, I can clearly say that you did not say that chapters should be gone. In fact, it sounded an awful bit like, to me, like what she was saying is that you have great value, but there might be a need for you to work a little harder. Maybe you feel, and maybe what she's really saying, my dear people, is that if you would work harder, chapters would succeed. Is that not what you were saying?
It's the only smart thing you said all day.
Ladies, I'm among the people here in the audience, and I think that we should ask them what their thoughts are, and not just let two ladies, one taller than the other, have this battle. So, who's got the clicker? Oh,
I don't need one.
you don't. You have dragons.
Jenny, let's bring this to the people, shall we?
Eric, I think we should bring this to the people. So, people, please pick up those mobile devices again. And this is where we are going to ask you, what do you want to add to this debate? Pro or con? Chapters or no chapters? So once again, we're going to text 22333 to Peggy. Or wait, text Peggy Hoffman to 22333.
If you already texted it, honeys, you're in. Mark.
Oh, you're in. Okay. So then this is an open dialogue conversation box. So please put your Peggy Hoffman.
Peggy Hoffman! Yes, I feel it. The power of the drum.
And if you don't want to text it, we're just going to keep this scrolling throughout our conversation. But what Eric and I want to do is we want to come among the people. So the reason that we had this topic and let's not put advertisements for our companies up there, I'll just ask that. I've been to many of Julie's rock conferences and they can get quite interesting with the Mentimeters, right, Julie? So why we wanted to have this debate is really let's have a thought-provoking conversation around why should we have a chapter? Why are chapters beneficial? So for those of you in the room who are yay chapters, why should we have chapters? What has it done for you? What has it done for your business? So our yay chapters. And then also, let's post challenging questions out there. Why not have a chapter? And if you've got a question to pose out to the group. So, who is going to be our first among the people?
I'll take it. Fran, you have the graveyard slide that made me real nervous. I see those chapters up there. It does throw a stake in the heart. But what are the main reasons why they're up there, in your opinion?
I would say the majority of reasons, and Jenny, you should pitch in here, are leadership fatigue. Or the wrong leaders leading. And that sometimes education doesn't follow the needs of the market. And so attendance can sometimes be challenged, leaders fatigue, and there's no succession plan.
Eric, can I have you repeat the question? I was reading the scrolling slide, so can you repeat it this way?
We saw the graveyard slide with
yes.
the chapters that have gone awry and no longer with us, at least for now. Mm-hmm. And the question was why? What were the main drivers for that?
So I can speak to a couple of the more recent chapters, and we're just going to be real honest. When you get too partner heavy on your board and you don't have hoteliers involved, some people can think that it's just a sales call, so it's not about HSMAI, it's about the business, and then people retract back. So it's so important to have a really healthy mix of partners and hoteliers, DMOs, so anyone who's in the business of hospitality that's on the selling side of it. That has been one thing that can be very difficult. And that's the same thing for your membership base too. When you get too partner heavy, it can be very hard to produce quality education for hotel sales, revenue, and marketing professionals. How about anyone else in this room? Do you have friends in these markets? Okay, Eric, we've got Lauren over there. So we have one, but then I want to pose that out to all of you. Do any of you have friends in these markets where the chapter is gone, and what have you heard?
I would like to amplify what you... Oh, sorry. Lauren Ray, Hospitality Digital Marketing. You're going to listen to me for about an hour from now. I would like to echo a lot of what Jenny just said. Is to rise above, and a little bit of self-promotion is what I'm going to talk about today, that it's beyond the selling. It's beyond the looking for a job, offering a job, or selling a product or finding a product. It's about being an industry icon in your market. It's about being the voice of the industry in your market, to offer to the community, to offer to those that work within the industry a value proposition that goes beyond the tangible buy, sell, membership rewards, numbers, dollars. It's about being the authority in your market for what hospitality is represented in your market. And if you do that and you focus on that, the leadership burden turns a little less and the interest turns a little higher. But we'll get to it.
Thank you. So I just want to read some of these as they come up. So we'll pay you later for the ones that are prompting our future programs throughout today. So one of them I had seen was the membership value. What is the value of a membership? We've got old ideas recycled, put the R in HSMAI, we've heard that. A few benefits to membership. The chapter activity is the reason I got a job upon graduation. So, absolutely. Supporting chapters. Absolutely.
My son.
Absolutely. Chapters are the lifeblood of HSMAI, providing members with benefits on a local level. And I also think that it's not just members. on a local level. It's community individuals who engage in. So, who's a pro chapter in here? I'm going to put someone on the spot. Who can tell me why have an HSMAI chapter? Now you're all getting nervous as I'm
Behind
walking.
him.
Oh yes, we got you behind. Okay, we'll go 1, 2.
I'm Jeff Chase with Central Florida. I can be both sides, pro or con. I will tell you, when I first started with HSMAI, I didn't know what a BEO, what an RFP. I had no idea about the real hospitality industry. And through HSMAI, I learned all of that.
Thank you, Jeff. And Jeff is the managing director for the Central Florida chapter.
Stephen Dickey with the Minnesota chapter. I'm very pro chapters. I think, especially in Minnesota, it's a great way to get our local market leaders out to our local level, and we can really push the information to our market. That some people like myself probably wouldn't even hear about HSMAI if we didn't have a chapter in Minnesota.
Spreading the word, continuing the education. Anyone back here? Or Mitch, you always have something. Oh, Mitch has nothing to say. I think this is the first.
We're coming to you.
We got it, Lee. Eric's coming to you there.
Hi, Eileen White, Managing Director for Oregon Chapter and Greater Philadelphia Chapter currently. I'm also Managing Director for other chapters. I think it's that coming together, having colleagues for life, the connections that you make, and connections that go on, folks you find out that you have in common elsewhere, and getting things put together. That's that real. I always make the joke of that we're an educational organization, but networking happens, and what better people to network with than people that are interested in making their own lives, their own professional lives, and the industry better.
Wonderful. You've got one right behind you, Eric.
Hello.
Hi, thank you. Wendy Johnson with Arizona Chapter, new president. I'm a big pro fan. I've learned a lot myself, and I have some great colleagues. I feel with this industry, if we don't have our chapters to help us create the value for our industry out there, our industry, the hospitality industry will die. And that's not who we are. We're here to grow and show people that it's the best industry. It's the one that brings us the biggest revenue in our states. And without our chapters, we just wouldn't be anywhere.
All right, thank you, Wendy. We have Mr. Gilbert.
Just for the record, I'm pro. I'll make sure we know all that. Contrary to what we may have heard from the debaters up here. But the one thing I talked to a lot of GMs who call me, say, why should I support this for my sales and marketing person? And I think part of what we forget to say or articulate sometimes is the why we exist. And chapters exist because in a market there is an inherent interdependency between sales and marketing people at hotels and DMOs about all the business that comes into your market. That's the leisure business, meetings and conventions business, and the corporate business. And if you can articulate that to the people that are writing the checks, you don't exist for social reasons, you don't exist for networking. Those are byproducts of the reason you come together. But the why you exist is because of the inherent interdependency to get more business into your market, and therefore it's your hotels. And if you put it in that business context, I think to a GM or anybody else that's trying to understand why you exist, the light bulb goes off. And I think we all need to do a better job of articulating that sometimes. So that's my answer to the value proposition question.
Thank you, Bob. And Mark, I did not talk to you about this beforehand, so I apologize. However, I think you said something so impactful and profound last year at the regional leadership forums when you got into HSMAI and how you were able to do skills and learn things in your volunteer role. Could you just share a little bit of that story? Okay, good. I want to make sure.
Yeah, thanks for prompting my memory, though. When you said I said something impactful, I was scrambling to what that might be. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark Thompson. I work, my day job is with Visit Dallas, but I'm here as board chairman for the Americas board for HSMAI. First and foremost, thank you for being here. This is my favorite HSMI program, year in and year out. I started in HSMI as a newsletter editor and worked on a chapter board for about 10 years, served as chapter president, and then moved on to chair one of the advisory boards, and then eventually joined the Americas board. And I'm really thrilled to chair it, and honestly, because of the power of chapters and what chapters have done not only for this organization, but for me. What I shared last year at some of the regional programs was something that has been said a couple of times today in different ways, but I mean, certainly from a skill development and a relationship development, but candidly, the ability to serve in a leadership capacity, let's face it, in ways that with our day job, we might not do. So, you may work in sales Monday through Friday, but the ability to plug in and work in finance or work in educational programming, or to learn skills such as you can in your day-to-day career provides a whole lot of opportunity, a lot of growth, while at the same time giving you the ability to show leadership while doing that. So that was, I think, one of the biggest things from my own background that I've been very grateful for the chapters. Personally, I've learned more in my chapter roles, or I should say as much in my chapter roles as I have in the positions I've been paid to do.
You got something over here.
Okay, I just want to say thank you so much to Mark. That story last year just really stuck with me in my role of overseeing all our chapters and remembering that we can help put people, as Peggy said up there, is helping our young professionals basically test drive and gain skills, and for all of us to gain skills and knowledge that we can put on our resume that can take us to places that we may not be able and to try things and build new skills that can, further our careers. So thank you so much for that, Mark. I really appreciate it. Okay, we have one across the...
She's real shy. So.
I'm so super shy.
No, hi, I'm Rochelle. I'm immediate past president of the Arizona chapter, and gosh, I've been trying to, think of everything I want to say, because I'm definitely pro-chapter. I started, again, not really knowing what I was getting into, and started on the vendor side. And I would go, and I would participate, and I would learn. And I was able to seamlessly go into a role into the hotel side because of all the things I learned. A lot of us come to this not really, thinking we can it's going to be so easy. Well, if it's of value, and if it's something you want to build, and it's something you want to be successful, it's not always going to be easy. I think of, ballet dancers, all the practice that goes into that. I think of my childhood and my feet being bloodied and sore, but damn, I could do a pirouette. And it was hard work, but it was worth it in the end. And the same goes for us. We have to put the hard work in because that's where the value is going to come in. And then people like me who can seamlessly step into a leadership role, I learned that by going and participating, and that wouldn't have been the case if there hadn't been a chapter.
Rochelle, thank you so much. Yes, woo! And we're still collecting as we go up here. So there was one that I had, here we go. The need to influence hotel owners and management groups to support and pay for membership. And I really think that speaks to what Bob was talking about too, is having that value proposition, which is what we're going to be talking about later today. I love the Stronger Together. And this is something that came up in the President's and Managing Director conversation this morning. And it was, you get the volunteers and you get them in and they're very excited and they're yay! And then you give them a task and they go dark, right? So it's working through that too and clearly defining roles. So Eric, do we have anyone else? Who else wants to add to this debate? Oh, we've got one at the beginning of the room.
I know it's going to happen eventually.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Ray Martinez. I'm with the Southern Colorado chapter. And I would say, considering the fact that most of us are in some form of sales and marketing, that as amazing as our programs are created and the educational pieces are thought about, it's truly coming down to the point of actually selling. You have to get the information out there. You have to let people know, the GMs, the owners, other salespeople, hey, you're missing out on some awesome things. This is what we're doing. We want to see you here. I know that with our chapter, we like to bring guests as much as possible to get them in. And the more that you get them at the events, the more they get involved, and the more that they're like, this is awesome. Where have I been? Why have I not done this? And so that's probably, I think, part of our biggest success and influence within our community is that we tell everyone, even if they're annoyed. I get in a lot of trouble because on my personal Facebook account, it's just in my eye. It's just, they're like, you keep posting. I'm like, well, you're not coming. that would be my thing. So.
Wonderful. You know, we laughed, us at HSMI laughed. Many years ago, there was a student who was on Wheel of Fortune, and he just kept screaming, HSMI, HSMI. Isn't that what we all should be? Cheering out? Oh, no. Oh, no. Winter is coming. Winter is coming. And Mother Dragons. You left your dragons. So, as we wrap this session, because, that's a good mask. We want to leave you. We're going to transfer over here. That's a good one. All right, so what we're going to do to wrap up this session, ladies, we will leave it to the two of you. Will I care for your dragons? Depending on what season you're in, actually, table I was at today, I'm not going to blow anything. So currently there's 3 dragons. We'll leave it at that, mother of dragons. So, any closing thoughts from the two of you before we go to the people to ask a question?
So the reality is that both of us clearly support chapters. But in order for the chapters to overcome the many things that you put there is a moment in time where we have to embrace change. And part of what we wanted to do today, and the difficult, very difficult task that we gave our dear and wonderful Cersei. Now, I need to get paid, okay? This doesn't not pay enough. Because there are some realities, and there are realities that are impacted by the fact that we have, some people will say, Generation Z, which is truly the digital generation. We have a brand new generation coming into our workplaces and our associations. We have a generation, many of you in the room who are millennials and younger Xers, and yet we have structures, formats, volunteerism that is built for traditionalists and boomers. And the reason why she clearly, every complaint that she offered you has been heard around the boardroom, is because we haven't done the hard work to accept what has changed. And so I stand by my statement that chapters rock. And I also stand by the statement, though, that I only come, as those of you who are Game of Throners know, I only help those who help themselves.
Mic drop, right? So we're going to turn it back. We'll see here. All right. There we go. Okay, so now that you've got Peggy in, all you need to do is go to the last poll. So this is our closing question for you all today. Is there a future for chapters? Yes, no, or are you unsure? So as we move into the next session, you'll notice that this afternoon was really slated to talk about chapters and have a discussion. And now we're going to move into taking a deeper dive into what is that value proposition? How do we become the sales professionals, if that's maybe not our skill set? How do we continue to be the evangelists of HSMAI? And then once we put that value proposition together, we're going to learn how to market it and do social selling with Lauren. And then we're going to end the day with connecting with 2 incredible Convention and Visitor Bureau CEOs. So, ladies, I release you from the stage. Thank you so much.